welcome back to the studio. My name is Melissa and today we will be crocheting a hooded cowl. And the yarn we will be using to do this is this exquisite yarn. It is baby merino and I bought this from Hobium. It comes in a box of 10. It is a fingerling weight yarn. It says it needs a 3.5 to 4 millimeter hook. Honestly, to me, it is a 3. It is that tiny. So I joined 2 strands together to get the thickness that I want because that's just too. I wear glasses. That's just too small for me. So I joined the 2 together. So I will have 2 strands of yarn, 2 balls on the go as I make this. And therefore I will need 10 balls of yarn roughly. I have been finding that it can be less depending on your tension. The yarn is called, there are the details, baby merino yarn. There are about 7 different colors you can use, from browns, blues, greens, pinks, reds, and they all come as a mixed pattern. It is really beautiful, works up beautifully, has a fantastic feel when it's in a garment, and I really enjoy using this. But of course you can use any yarn you like to make this. If you're following along with me, just make sure that your hook matches the weight of the yarn. So what hook will we be using? For the neck, we will be using a 7 millimeter hook. And for the hood part, we will be using a 6 millimeter hook. Both these hooks come from Furls. You'll also need your scissors and a yarn needle. So let's get this project started. Okay, so once you have found the 2 ends of your 2 balls of yarn, put them together like so. And leave a little tail. We will work that in later into the project, and then do a slip knot however you do your slip knot. Get your 7 millimeter hook and you will be chaining 51. Now that you have your chain of 51, you will be missing that first stitch and working into the second stitch. We will be doing a rib stitch, which means we're working into the V here, straight into the middle of that. So missing that first chain there, going into your second chain there, put your hook straight through, grab your yarn and pull it through. Then grab your yarn and pull through the 2 loops on the hook. Go to your next chain, put your hook straight through, grab your yarn, pull it through, and grab your yarn and pull through the 2 loops on the hook. Going to the next chain, straight through the middle, grab your yarn, pull it through, and grab your yarn and pull through the 2 loops on the hook. And keep doing this all the way down your chain. Make sure that you're picking up both strands and not leaving one behind. If you do that, just pull back to where you've missed it and repeat. Okay, so finish doing a stitch in each one of your chains, and I will meet you back here when you have completed that. Once you have finished your first row, make sure that you have 50 stitches. When you have done that, then chain 1 and turn your work. Now each row for this part, the neck is what we're working on, we will be putting our stitches into the middle of that V and going back. So what I mean is go into that V and push backwards, grab your yarn, pull it through, grab a yarn and pull through the 2 loops on the hook. Go to your next stitch, into the middle of the V towards the back, grab a yarn, pull it through, grab a yarn and pull through the 2 loops on the hook. So as you're working along, you're going into the middle of the stitch and you put your hook towards the back, grab a yarn, pull it through, grab a yarn and pull through the 2 loops on the hook. Now you are working with the 2 strands, so a couple of things, making sure that you're always getting those 2 strands, and when you're putting your hook in, you're going between the stitch and not catching in between your 2 strands. Grab a yarn, pull it through, grab a yarn, pull through the 2 loops on the hook. And this is the stitch you will be using throughout the whole of your neck. This creates the rib that we're wanting to have. So this is row number 2, and keep doing this all the way to the end of the row, and I will meet you at the row and we'll go through this one more time. Now we've finished row 2, and at the end of every row you will be chaining 1. You turn your work, you miss that chain, and you go into the first stitch straight through the middle towards the back, grab your yarn, pull it through, grab your yarn, pull through the 2 loops on the hook. And keep repeating this for every row. You will be doing 65 rows, and once you have finished your 65 rows, you'll see that it will be ribbing up quite nicely after the next couple of rows. You might be able to see that there. And after you finish your 65 rows, come back and I will show you what to do next. Just remember that at the end of every row you're chaining 1 and turning your work and just continuing on. Alright, I will see you after your 65th row and show you what to do next. Okay, so we've finished our 65 rows of rib, and as you can see it should look like this and be ribbing in and out and quite springy. Now it's quite long, can't fit it in the camera, but when you have joined everything together, this is going to fold in half and that becomes the neck area when we've sewed it up, and that's where your head goes through there. So now what we need to do is actually join the 2 long edges together. And what we are going to be doing is a slip stitch. So sticking with your 7mm hook, make sure you're finishing at the top of your row here is at the other end of where you started with your tail, because you want the tail to be up the top. So we're going to join together along here, and the tail will be up the top because that we will sew in when we're doing our next row of stitches. It'll all make sense when we get there. Okay, so what we need to do is we're going to be joining these 2 long edges together. So bringing them together like so, and we are going to be doing a slip stitch all the way down the edge. So bringing your other end together like so. In the top of the very first stitch here, slip your hook in. Then yarn over your hook and pull your hook through the loops on your hook. Then you'll see that you have the triangles here, the V shapes on the long one side, and on the other side, which is the side you started on, it's just one single loop. So what you need to do is in the next stitch go to the back. So not this side, it'll be the right hand side there. So you're going in that way, and then go to the corresponding, so this one here, So this is the next stitch on the other side. Just slip your hook straight through there. Grab the yarn and pull through all the loops on your hook. So doing that again, you're going into the back of that stitch. So there's that V. You're going into the right hand side of that V, straight through the middle. Corresponding stitch on the other side. Going straight in there. Then grab a yarn and pull through all the loops on the hook. And you repeat this all the way down. Now remember, it can be a bit tricky because you've got two strands to worry about. So we're going in that one, corresponding one on the other side, and then pulling your yarn through all. Alright, so make your way down the edge there, repeating the whole process all the way down, and I will meet you back here when you have finished that and joined your two sides together. Now that you have joined this together, it should look a little something like this. Now you can leave it looking like that, or turn it inside out and see if you prefer that side. It really doesn't matter which way. There we go, there's the joins there. It doesn't matter which way it goes, but whatever you perceive to be the nicest, have that as your outside. Now I would suggest grabbing a stitch marker, and what we are going to do is find the halfway point to find the back. So I would just go, there's my seam, fold it in half, and this is what I would say is my back. Now what I am going to do, now you don't have to do this, but I like the neater look that it will create, especially because I sell these. I want my seam to be at the back of my garment, i.e. the back of the neck. So when you wear it, the front, the opening of your head, the hood will be here, and the seam that I've just created will be at the back. So I need to, though, get, I've finished here, and I need to get over here. So I'm going to do single crochets all the way around to the stitch marker. Now you don't have to do this. You can skip this part if you want to, but if you want to put the seam at the back of your head, then I would suggest doing this. So what we are going to do is a single crochet in the top of each row. So you will see there's the row there, there, so on and so forth. So all you need to do is just go straight into that stitch, grab a yarn, pull it through, and then grab a yarn and pull through the two loops on the hook. And go into the next stitch, and then, sorry, the next row. So we're going into the top of the next row, and as you'll see, I've got the tail here, so I'm working over the tail. So just go straight into the top of the row, grab a yarn, pull it through, making sure you've got that tail there, and yarn over and through the two loops on the hook. So going into the next row, the next row, and keep doing this until you get to that stitch marker. Okay, now I'm at that stitch marker, and let's change our hook. We're going to our 6mm hook, our size lower, and you will be chaining one, turn your work, And you will be doing a half double crochet in the top of these stitches that you've just created. Now you'll notice that it's only halfway I've created, so when I get back to where I started, I'm going to have to continue creating stitches around the other way. So let's first of all do our half double crochets in the top of those stitches that we just did. So yarn over, go straight into the top of that stitch, grab a yarn, pull it through, then grab a yarn and pull through all the loops on the hook. Yarn over, straight into the next stitch, grab a yarn, pull it through, grab a yarn and pull through all the loops on the hook. Yarn over, straight into the next stitch, grab a yarn, pull it through, grab a yarn, pull through all the loops on the hook. And keep doing this all the way around. So I've got back to where I just started creating those stitches, and I'm just going to continue on creating the stitches the other way. So once again, just go straight to the top of each row and do a half double crochet, this time on the top of each row there. Until you get to the stitch marker. Okay, I'm coming up to the stitch marker, and I'm going to put a stitch where that stitch marker was, and make sure that my stitches are going into this, the last stitch is going into the same hole as that stitch from the other side is going into. The reason why I do that is to have a nice neat nice narrow gap for my hood, if that makes sense. Okay, so now what we're doing is chaining one, turn your work, and half double crocheting every row from now onwards for 33 rows, or as many rows as you require for your hood. Now it's up to you how many rows that you'll do to require. For me it is 33, and it is up to you what stitch you use for your hood. You can use any stitch, from waffle stitch, griddle stitch, bubble stitch, single crochet, rib, half double crochet, rib, whatever stitch you'd like to use. You can do this on this hood. Easy as. I am just keeping simple for this tutorial and doing a half double crochet. So chain one, yarn over, go straight into that first stitch, grab your yarn, pull it through, and grab your yarn and pull through all 3 loops on the hook, and keep doing your half double crochet until you get to the end of the row, and I will meet you there when you finish this row. This is row number 2. Okay, coming up to the end of row 2. So there we are. You can see the gap there forming for the hood, and then you just chain one, turn your work, and keep going. Now, as I said, it will be 33 rows for me. Just keep trialing it on and see how many rows it is for you and your head, or the person you're making it for's head. And so how it will work, just to let you know, so you're not, is you turn it, your tube, your ribbed tube that you made, that will go like that, and then the hood will flip over so that it comes over the top. So this is the top where your head's coming out, so you have the nice rollover edge underneath your chin, and then the hood goes over your head. Now you don't, when you're wearing this, you can keep the hood down, or you can put the hood up and over, and hopefully when you've made it, you'll feel how snugly and warm that is. It's beautiful. All right, so I'm going to leave you to finish your rows of half double crochet or whatever stitch you're using to do your hood, and then I'll come back here when you've got it long enough. So as I said, 33 rows for me. So when you've done your amount of rows, come back here and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so now we have finished the hooded part, doing our half double crochets 33 rows, and now we just need to join the top together. But first of all, make sure that you have this inside out. So lay it out, the whole thing, stretch it all out, make sure it's inside out, because you want the seam to obviously be on the inside. So make sure it's inside out, and when it is, what we're doing is just a slip stitch along the top. So I like to do my slip stitch along this edge here, and therefore it'll make a nice neat edge when you flip it inside out, and it doesn't create a big bulk sitting on the top of your head. So to start off with, just go straight into the edge. So here is the first stitch, and you're just going straight in the middle like so. Yarn over and just pull the yarn through the loops on the hook. Now your next stitch, you're going into the front of that stitch there, so this side of that stitch, and see that side of the next stitch on the other side, and then yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. So again, on this side we're going through to the left, and on this side we're going through on the right like so, and then pull the yarn through. So that side, make sure you get both of the, there we go, and pull the yarn through. That side, and pull through. Alright, continue doing that until you get to the end. Okay, so we're coming to the end, and you just work your stitches as best you can. It gets a bit tight. And then when you have done that, get your scissors, snip off the end, and then pull your yarn through, sew in the ends, just slide it in like so. Snip it off, and your hood is sewn up on the top, and then when you turn it inside out, you'll see it's got a nice edge. Now how you make this work, there is your neck. Fold your neck up like so, so it is going along the edge of the hood there, like so. And then get your hood and turn your hood inside out, and then pull it over and then this is where your neck goes, this is where your head is, and it looks a little something like this. Well, thank you for watching, everybody, and I hope you enjoy making your hooded cowl, and it is nice and comfy and keeps you warm for your winter. If you have liked this tutorial, please let me know what you thought of it and what yarn you used, and like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. I have plenty more tutorials on my channel, so please feel free to check them all out. And hopefully I see you again here at the studio sometime very soon. Take care, everyone.